there is this whole world, you know, was basically turned upside down. And how it all began was there was a prophet named the prophet Darwa. And this prophet wanted to rise up and basically take over the world. But before that, there were some other things that happened. There was, basically the dominating race in this world was the Saurians, and they're the reptilian, the Lesters of the world, and
Sweet.
they basically dominated the world. But then, towards the end of the culling, how everything kind of destroyed itself, the orcs and sort of the dwarves turned against, because they were in slavery. They were all enslaved by the Saurians, so they revolted. It was a very long war, and it was actually successful. And then a few days later, the world destroys itself, kind of recycles, and then a new world is born where everybody's kind of like on an even playing field. Well, this is where the prophet came into play, and this prophet, Darwa, wanted to be like the supreme ruler, and there was really all the other races didn't want that. They didn't want something coming to the forefront again like the Saurians. So they all basically came together, and it was a time called the Chaos Wars. And the Chaos Wars was a very long, very bloody. Basically destroyed pretty much all of civilization again. And that's when everybody revolted against this prophet, and eventually over time destroyed the prophet, and she was defeated. So that's where we're at now. Now, at the beginning, we all started in this town called the Kiln, and the Kiln was a really rough and tumble, like seafaring, watery, like a little small fishing or slash port town. And this is where all of our original adventures met. We had, Lester the Saurian, he like a tech nerd. We had the self-proclaimed star herself, Glitter. We had Folly. A lot of weird things about Folly, with her not knowing anything that happened with her parent. Actually, she accidentally did something to her parents. She was in this thieves guild, well, this like rogues guild in the Kiln that actually terrorized the entire small community. And eventually, with the help of Glitter, Lester, and two of our other guys, Deckard, he was at one point he was a lawman, and he actually retired because of some things that went down towards the end of his career, where he had actually found some items that were related with the Chaos Wars as well, and a couple of people died in his when he was looking out for them. So that's why he got out of being a lawman. Then there was Gideon, which is basically he was our dwarf, and he was a smith. He was pretty much the smithy of the Kiln, and most of the metal related work went through him and his forge. So, but I know that Gideon had kind of taken to Lester, and because I guess his kiosk, his blacksmith business was, there was a kiosk across the way, and it was Lester. He would peddle all those little electronic goods, and I'll let you kind of take over from here, Lester, as we kind of talk about what has happened up to where we're at now.
Well, I do remember that we kind of got all together, and we all have split up with a brewer. Um, I think when we went to Nestoria,
Wait,
and his name was Gerlach,
yeah,
and
you're getting way
basically,
ahead already.
oh, am I? Am
Yeah,
I?
that's okay.
Okay.
Well, that's no problem. You guys had stopped the Steve Guild in the Kiln,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And that's when
I,
everybody kind of gotten together, and Gideon wanted to kind of, start searching for his family's axe, well, his grandfather's axe, and bring it back to, the pride, and to his clan house. And Glitter, of course, Glitter, you wanted to be popular, right? You wanted to be,
Of course.
the most popular, star in all of the lands, and Nestora would
Magic
be a,
entertainer.
yeah, exactly. And that would be a perfect opportunity for you to do that, is to go into the big city, Nestora, the capital of the lands. And,
Not to mention that Folly and I had burnt down somebody's house, so it was a good
yeah, you guys
opportunity to get out of town.
yeah, you guys needed to get out of there. And yeah, that was actually pretty funny. So you guys started to make the trip to Nestora. Well, you knew that you needed to go to the Pegasus Roadhouse, and the Pegasus Roadhouse is on the way to Nestora, but it's not. It's not actually in Nestora. It's in like the outskirts of the limits of Nestora. Well, you go to the Roadhouse. You're supposed to contact, because you didn't know this. You did run a couple of caravan. You were basically hired hands for this guy named Gerlach, or the Beer Baron. He was a very, very, very. He's a superstar in the area of Nestor and all the surrounding lands. So you had known to go to the Pegasus Roadhouse and to meet Winifred and Tom, which was her husband. And you made the travel. You got to the Pegasus Roadhouse. Well, you had gotten there on a certain specific date when they were boasting about all of the Chaos Wars, the old Chaos Wars, and there was one of the guilds, because you know that there are many, 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 many guilds. As you guys once got to Nestora, you knew that there were so many guilds in that place. Well, as you got to the Pegasus Roadhouse, and I'll actually show you guys. Here is the Pegasus Roadhouse. Let's see. Here it is, right. Let's see. Well, once you were inside, remember you were doing this. Remember the boast, where it was sort of like
yeah.
acting.
Yeah, we had to do some boasts and make up some stories
Yeah,
at the moment.
pretty
I
much.
think we ought to make Grimac and Thomas do some right now, just to.
No,
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. No, I don't think that really pertains to them. But you also remember, you also had a magical orb, Lester, that you were trying to find out
Absolutely.
what in the heck this orb was. And this orb was in the Thieves Guild, if I'm not mistaken. And you had found this orb, which was right here. Actually, everybody had seen it once you got to the Fakaya, as you were supposed to find her and seek her out for her wisdom and knowledge, and her. And then, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, and I remember how she got her name too, because her name's Fakaya, because we're trying to seek her out. So we're like, hey, we're the Fakaya. Ha ha!
Wah, wah, wah. Well, anyways, you get to the Pegasus Roadhouse. Here's the Pegasus Roadhouse here. As you can see, there's all kinds of speeders, speeders in the air, speeders on the ground. It was just it was a fun time at the Pegasus Roadhouse. Well, you do this boast. Well, as the boast is going on, everybody's having a good time. And remember, this was totally paid for by Gerlach, the Beer Baron. I mean, everything was paid for. Remember, everything was free. All the food, all of the drink, everything was paid for, because this was a huge annual celebration. Well, remember. Remember, towards the end of the boast, one of these robots bust in through the door.
Keggy!
It was Keggy. It was one of the Beer Barons, aides slash robots, and the caravan was attacked. and everyone had sent out, well, everybody that wasn't drunk. You guys weren't drunk yet. Everybody else in the bar was drunk, so, in the roadhouse. So you guys set off really quick, and Keggy took you to where the beer baron was pinned down with the rest of his guards that were still alive, and it was getting attacked. And he had all this rare, brewer, just these rare spirits that were on his caravan that you were totally infatuated with, Lester, because of all the technology that it had. So
Absolutely.
you save Keggy, you save the beer baron, you save the beer. Everybody gets back to the roadhouse, and the party goes on through the night. It's like the party didn't even miss a beat, and the party even continued on the next morning, whenever everyone was back and drinking, and the beer baron, he was just starting to party. So the party goes on until the next day. Well, it's time to go. It's time to move on, and you guys are the beer baron is needing to go to the brew core. And I'm going to give you guys the map of the world map. Now, here is where you guys were at originally, down here at the kiln. And then you guys eventually, after several weeks, 3 weeks, ended up at the brew core right here. Leave that there. So the brew core is right here at the top. Well, that's where the all the beer is brewed by the beer baron. That's where his residence is. That's where his family's at, etc., etc., etc. So you had to travel to the brew core from the Pegasus Roadhouse, which the Pegasus Roadhouse was right here. So it wasn't a very far travel. Wasn't
Oh, it just looks like it's an inch or so, Dave.
Yeah, it's
You could have probably made that in seconds.
probably.
Oh, this map
Especially
isn't to scale?
especially with the technology,
Oh, okay.
But you guys were you guys were basically on foot, because remember his unique his caravan that has no wheels in it. Basically, it hovers, and that's what Lester was so infatuated about. I had actually broke down a couple times. Well, on the way, you guys met one of old Gerlach's, this beer baron. You met one of his old counterparts, one of his old partners named Holsick. And Holsick got the worst end of the deal between them two. And he actually, remember, he still held a grudge against the beer baron. And he was basically a toll master that is on the long road to Nestora. Well, when the caravan gets to this toll, Holsick and the beer baron, they get into it, and he's wanting to charge the caravan 100 gold to get through this toll. But with the quick thinking of both the party and a little bit of cash, they were actually able to haggle Holsick down. Well, Holsick and the beer baron, they used to be partners at one point, way back in the day. Well, I guess something happened, and the beer baron actually ended up with all the recipes and with the business. So Holsick's still a little he was still a little pissed off about that. So you guys finally got past Holsick, and then you got to the brew core. All right, you get to the brew core. You meet Lasada. Remember, Lasada is the one-eyed Saurian servant that remember had the glass eye, and she introduced you to the children of the beer baron. Remember Bessa, which was the beer baron's daughter. She's 14, and she wanted to become an adventurer, and she was always bugging the crap out of you guys for adventuring stories and whatnot. And then there was Bale, his son, which is actually younger at 12 years old. He was wanting to basically run the family business. Well, as you guys kind of get settled, everybody got cleaned up. At dinner time, you got there was a call that there were these critters that were in one of the brewery rooms, and you guys want to investigate. Well, actually, you were also paid. You were paid quite a bit from the beer baron, But as you guys are getting paid, word comes in from the other brewers that these hellions are tearing up the brewery. So you went into the brewery, took care of these hellions, actually found a matriarch hellion, and you found out that these were actually like a sort of like a demon or a monster from the Chaos Wars that actually had survived, but supposedly all of these hellions were vanquished, but apparently not, because they're in the brew core. So you guys took it, and there was a drunken matriarch also, and you guys took care of the drunken matriarch, and then you guys basically stayed a couple more days at the brew core. You partied your ass off for a couple days, and you had some brews named after yourselves. The Beer Baron named some brews after yourselves. Now, Glitter and Lester, do you guys remember the brews that you named after yourselves? And he actually, and these were recipes that you guys wanted. So he actually he said that he was going to start brewing these.
Yeah, I think mine was Penis Leech.
No. Your character just dies of an aneurysm. Just kidding.
I can't remember what mine was called, Dave.
Well, mine was named by somebody other than me because I was out of town during that episode.
Oh yeah,
So-
it was called Misty's Dumb.
I think it was called something dumb.
Well, that'll be some good homework for you guys. You guys find out the names of your brews and get back with me, and then
It was
we'll,
pink. I remember
we'll
that.
incorporate
Something pink.
those later. All right, so after you guys had all that partying at the brew core, you got paid. You actually made quite a bit of money, especially for low-level hires or mercenaries, I guess you can kind of consider yourselves. You made the short trip to Nestora. So now you're going from the brew core to Nestora. And you get to Nestora, and in books and magazines and tablet commercials and communication device commercials and all this media out there promotes Nestora as the place you want to visit, the place you want to take your family, the place you want to vacation, the place for this, the place to do business, everything is Nestora. Well, when you get there, it wasn't what it actually appeared. And when you guys got there, especially with Glitter, Glitter knew that with the population here and her talents, and with the all of the opera houses and amphitheaters, Glitter really thinks she's going to be a star, and that's good, because there's a lot of people here.
I'm talking about thinks she's gonna be.
She
Glitter-
knows she's going to be a star.
Glitter thinks she is a star, and everybody knows who she is.
And and she's actually been kind of disappointed a couple times when she's introduced herself and nobody's heard of her. Who are you? I'm sorry, I've never heard of you.
Of course
So
you heard of me.
I know that she's been disappointed a couple times, but that doesn't mean that she's not going to be, popular later on. I mean, especially with her glitter cannons, and once she gets doing some shows and whatnot, oh my gosh, I can just see the entire massive metropolis of Nestora, flocking to see Glitter perform. Also, Lester, you had seen. Now, remember when you guys got to. When you guys got there was actually some pretty disturbing things that you had seen. Now, Lester, remember when you got there, you guys were on that sort of like that double-decker bus. Remember that, and the party was going on at the top of the bus, and you were speaking to those two Yentas. Anybody remember the name of the Yentas?
Oh my God, Dave! I don't have perfect recall.
Margaret and Barbara.
Oh, that's right.
Jeez.
I remember they had the voice of Chocolate from SpongeBob. You got some chocolate? I remember that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, man. I'm surprised I actually remember all this stuff. Well, remember when you get to Nestora, this is one of the
Yeah,
scenes
I remember there's an all-out fight,
Yeah.
and that there's these different guilds in Nestora. One like protects people, and the other ones are like, a police guild. And the Margaret and Barbara told us not to get involved and to just go along with our business.
Yeah, just ignore everything, darling. Yeah,
But I'm super helpful.
Oh, what you eating there, Grimrock?
It's human flesh, Dave.
Nice.
He's a
It's
cannibal.
my lunch, man.
Nice.
12 o'clock where I'm at.
Speaking of
Oh
the
my
guilds, there you go.
2 o'clock where I'm at.
There would be posters all around the store, looking for you. The guilds watch out for you. They protect you. They protect Nestora. Join our guild. Pretty much. So basically, Nestora is like a city of strife. I mean, there's all of these internal guilds fighting over status and fighting over the each part of the population support, which was definitely not what you guys had heard of. Now, remember, you guys, when you guys were kind of checking things out and learning where everything is, you guys actually saw an accident happen. You guys remember that? You guys remember the accident? I sure do. And here's
Dave,
the
why don't you
accident.
tell us about how incredible that accident was?
That
Oh,
accident,
that's
yeah,
right.
that's
It was a
it, yeah.
bomb.
Yeah.
And then we chased after the person, and then we got arrested because they thought that we were the ones that did the bombing.
Well, you didn't get arrested. No, actually, you guys were kind of hailed as like the
That's
heroes
right.
of the
we
day.
saved it.
Yeah, because you actually saved a couple people's lives from burning. I remember Glitter, you actually pulled one person out of a burning truck. So, as you guys are, parading through, well, not parading, but as you're kind of exploring around the store, you witness that happen. And, you helped a couple people out. And then, you get to find some places to stay and whatnot. And you want to visit the sage, Fakaya.
Fakaya.
Fakaya, yeah.
How the fuck are you?
The Fakaya.
Wow. Talk about taking someone's joke and just
I
running
know.
with it.
Yeah.
Just because you said it 2 minutes later doesn't make it funnier.
Oh, see.
So you meet Fakaya.
I thought it was funnier.
I thought it was.
Burn, Lester.
Lester goes in there. Lester wants to find out about this orb. And, this is when the rest of the party finds out that he had this orb. Because he kind of kept it a secret. And
You don't want to know where I kept it.
Yeah, he pulls this orb out, and everybody's like, "Hey, where'd you get that?" Blah blah blah, and then he actually cracks and says, "I got it from the Thieves Guild." So, anyways, Fakaya, there's all these runes, special runes on it, very 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 magical, and Fakaya said that she could find out about this, and it would take a day or so for her to find the information out about this and get back to you. So you guys had like a full day to kill in the city of Nestora. Now, the next day was basically a holiday. And, you guys were traveling town. You guys, visited all these kiosks, and you guys bought a bunch of stuff. You upgraded your weapons, bought new weapons. But the next day was the Parades of the Fallen. Remember, that was like a day-long celebration, a day-long festival, and you guys really didn't have any problems. A couple people hailed you from, "Hey, yeah, you're the ones that helped with the with the accident," and you guys really didn't make anything of it. So the day goes by, you guys celebrate, you guys spend a bunch of money, you guys buy some new weapons, upgrade some weapons. And you head back to Fakaya the next day. Well, Fakaya finds out that this amulet is like a this orb is like a storage device. And remember, there were some amulets that were stored inside, and each one of these amulets had a certain magical power. And they were all identified, and everybody kind of divvied them out. And I remember Fakaya, she wanted to, as she was seeking payment, she asked if she could keep the orb. And of course, Lester, loving technology, he wanted to keep the orb. So, payment was resolved. Glitter fell in love with these glitter cannons that Fakaya had, and I think Glitter, didn't you buy her out on all those glitter cannons, something like that?
A lot of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the shit out of those things?
Yeah, those were.
He
she
bought
had a whole
the
barrel
shit
of
out
them.
of that.
Yeah.
How do you buy the shit out of something? That seems like a terrible
Kinda
waste
like-
of money.
It's kind of like how you smack the shit out of something.
Oh my God.
I mean, I can get that because you hit somebody so hard, they're like, oh, excuse me. But buy the shit out of something? Like two girls, one cup kind of a deal. I don't know.
Jesus, I'm gonna have to edit that out. So
Want me to post a link for your viewers, Dave?
No links,
as
Lester.
as you guys are leaving Fakaya the Sage, all of it, because all around the store. I mean, this is an age of technology, so there are televiewers all over the place. There are kiosks with TV screens everywhere, showing commercials and all this. So one of the guilds actually transmits over everything when you guys are leaving Fakaya the Sage. And all of a sudden, this broadcast or this public broadcast system comes up with a bunch of basically propaganda saying that there are some bad people in the store right now, and you need to avoid these people and report to us and call the toll-free number there. It was something star something something something. You call on your communicator, and all of a sudden, everybody's pictures from the party started showing up on this teleprompter, and it was all images of them at the accident, and this propaganda was portrayed as they were terrorists against Nestora. So as they're in as it's prime time, everybody's out in the streets, everybody's buying, everybody's eating dinner, everybody sees the party there, and all eyes are on the group now. And they're saying if you see these individuals or hear these individuals, stay back. They are dangerous. Yada yada yada. And all of a sudden, you could start to hear the sirens in the distance, and that's when you met someone else.
Ocker.
Ah, very good, very good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
you
he
guys
led us through the sewers.
Yeah, you guys were enemies of the state, and this is basically another image of all of you guys displayed, your faces displayed on the teleprompters. So you guys are now enemies of the state, and you have no clue what to do. The guilds are coming after you, etc. I mean, shit is just hitting the fan. So you meet Ocker. This individual comes up to you. He tells you that these are enemies of the city. They want you. They're going to take you. You need to come with me. So, like Lester said, you guys flee into the sewers, which the sewers were basically the old city back in the days. Back from the startup after the Chaos Wars, and Ocker, as you guys are traveling through the sewers, you find out a few things about Ocker, because you were kind of wondering, how in the hell did this guy know who we were? Well, he is a friend of the Beer Baron. He's a friend of the Beer Baron, and the Beer Baron is a good friend of Elwyn Voss. Exactly,
Yep.
of Elwyn Voss, and he he's a very, very, probably the richest individual in the store, and probably this part of the world. And he owns a corporation called the Voss Group, and the Voss
He's also
Group,
transgender, Dave.
yeah, he's an elf, of course. Yeah, so he's a 1,200-year-old elf, So he's part of the Voss Group. Ocker is. So you guys may start to make your way through the undercity and the sewers. Now, as you guys are going through the sewers, you run into these sewer jackals, basically. And you guys are traveling throughout the sewers. These jackals here, that's what they look like, the jackals. Very very dirty place, the old sewers, the old undercity.
That's weird how the old sewers would be a dirty place, Dave.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think of sewers as super clean all the time.
Do you? Do you remember anything else about the sewers? Let's see if Lester.
Yeah,
can
there's
hack
also
this
these
up.
creatures, the Beastmen. They're minotaur-looking dudes.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's some kind of people that live in the sewers. They're kind of like a throwback, and there's, just like what you said, there's all these cities, and over time, as the city would fall, they'd build another city on top of it. So you look at a city like Nestor or whatever, and there's a humongous city, but then underneath there's all these ruins and maybe even some technology and stuff in there.
Yeah, it was.
And then there's that
Claustra.
chick. Yeah, there's the Tana.
Good job.
The